Alright guys, my name is Metagoblin and today we're going to be discussing the topic where should you put your Hearthstone in Classic WoW. Just before we jump in guys, please do give me a quick follow on Twitch. I am streaming over there pretty much every night and I'm going to be streaming the launch of Classic WoW as well. So when it comes to this topic, as far as I can see, personally I think there are a number of great options where you can put your Hearthstone, and in this video I'm going to cover some locations which probably haven't actually occurred to you. And what I think where you put your Hearthstone, it depends entirely on what you're doing in the game. You know, you're doing raiding, you're doing PvP, or are you farming your best pre-raid best in slot gear. So if you're raiding for your pre-best in slot gear, you know, before you go into a raid, you want a Hearthstone location which is very centric to the entire world. It's going to be a location where you can jump around to the far corners of the world as fast as possible, because obviously there's dungeons in various locations. You know, for a lot of pre-best gear, for instance, is going to be in Stratform, or you know, from Skolomons, and also Blackrock Depths down here, and then you might even be doing a little bit of Diamol depending on what phase you're actually playing, and also Maradon in Desolace as well. So you know, the locations are dotted around. So for my recommendation, I would put your Hearthstone here. If you're playing for the Horde, I would put your Hearthstone at Gromgol. There's a particular reason for that. Obviously, so if you look closely at Gromgol Base Camp, you have two Zeppelin locations at Gromgol Base Camp. If you look right up there, there's a Zeppelin right there. One of them goes to Orgrimmar, so you can very quickly, you know, go to your capital city to get to your bank, your auction house, that kind of thing. And it also has a Zeppelin to the Undercity as well, so you've got very quick access to, you know, Stratform and Skolomons instances. And then at Gromgol you're pretty close to Blackrock Depths as well, and then you can just jump on a Zeppelin to Orgrimmar if you want to go to Desolace. And you know, you've also got access to the Booty Bay. You can jump, you know, there's one simple flight path you get to the Booty Bay, and then you can jump all the way to the Ratchet, and again that gives you access to, you know, dungeons down here like Zul'Farrak. So personally, for the Horde, I think this is just one of the best hubs that you can put your Hearthstone at if you want to get around the world very quickly into several different dungeon locations. If you're playing Alliance and you're in the same boat, you're trying to raid your pre-best gear, my recommendation would actually be Ironforge. So from Ironforge you can take a little quick flight path down to the wetlands, and then the wetlands gives you access to Faramore Isle, which basically gives you really good access to, you know, the rest of, you know, southern Kalimdor. You can also take a boat to Darnassus. Well, actually no, it goes to Darkshore, doesn't it? So you basically have great access to the northern Kalimdor. So if you put your Hearthstone at Ironforge, you've got great access to northern Kalimdor and southern Kalimdor. The only downside to put it in Ironforge, if you don't really have access to southern eastern kingdoms, you can just take a flight path there and kind of be lazy, but it is actually probably faster to jump on a boat to Faramore, take a little flight path to Ratchet, and then fly to Booty Bay. So you've got great access to Zul'Gurub as well. So basically Ironforge is probably the best location for your Alliance. You've also got the perk of being, you know, close to your bank and everything like that. You may also want to put it actually in Menethil Harbour. You know, it depends what kind of content you're doing. However, you probably will be required, if you're in a serious raiding guild and you're, you know, doing world buff runs and things like that before you do your raid night, you're probably going to have to put your Hearthstone basically in the closest location to whatever raid you're doing. A lot of the time this is going to be Badlands, you know, Kargath, because you can just, you know, jump on your mount and go to Molten Core or Blackwing Lair after you've got all of your raid buffs. The Alliance equivalent I don't actually know, because I've not done Alliance raiding before, just, you know, something I'm going to be doing when a Classic comes out. So yeah, you're probably going to be required to basically listen to your raid leader, and he's going to tell you where to put your Hearthstone so you can jump into the raid quickly with all of your world buffs. If you don't like the Gromgol idea because you like Hearthstoning to a capital city, and which is fair enough, and if you're still you know, farming your pre-best in slot gear for raiding, you know, most people actually make the mistake of putting it in Orgrimmar. Okay, Orgrimmar is here, and it's kind of a detour, or a slight detour, to get to, you know, the Undercity. There is a Undercity Zeppelin from Orgrimmar which you can take, but personally I would probably actually set my Hearthstone in the Undercity so I'd have quick access to Stratform and Skolomons. But then again, it also depends on what class you're playing, because, you know, there might not be any best in slot gear from Strat or Skolo, which is highly unlikely because there's so many bosses and so much loot from it. But I would personally set my Hearthstone in Undercity if I was still farming pre-raid gear and I needed, I wanted quick access to my auctions and my bank and stuff. So yeah, that is just my personal recommendation, guys. You can take it or leave it. Anyway, my name is Metagoblin. Until my next video, ciao.